and to tell us more in terms of what is happening at this moment about these immigration raids and also the political slugfest that this has started off. You're joined on this broadcast by Professor John Ports, who's a professor of political science at the Northeastern University. He's joining us on this broadcast from Boston. Now, Professor Ports, thank you very much indeed, sir, for speaking to us here on WION. Now, one would not expect that an issue such as immigration and how it is dealt with would become this kind of an ugly political war of words. Trump claims if he had not intervened, then Los Angeles would have burnt down. But Gavin Newsom has hit back saying that this is a deranged fantasy of a dictatorial president. What are we to make of these statements that are coming from the American political leaders?
I think it is definitely an example where the national government and the states are coming to direct conflict on this. And I think the point being that Newsom's point being that typically in a situation like this, there's a process whereby the local police, then the county police, then the state of enforcement authorities kind of escalate together, working together to try to address this. And President Trump moved quickly and called in the National Guard before that process had taken place. And I think that's a major part of their objection.
You know, this is the first time since 1965 that the American president has in fact sent in the National Guard without a governor requesting for it. You know, considering that this is unprecedented, it's not happened in the last 60 odd years. What is Donald Trump trying to do here? Is he trying to prove a point that he's the one who's actually hard on immigration, while Gavin Newsom is not actually cracking down on illegal immigration in the manner the Republican president wants to?
Certainly there's a political side to this. You're absolutely right. And I think the reporter brought that up as well. From Donald Trump's perspective, he's one who acts first. He's going to act quickly. He's been doing that since day one of his administration with all the executive orders. And so he wasn't going to wait. And he thinks that, and I probably rightly so, this is an issue. Immigration, law and order around immigration is one that he thinks is a winner for him at the national level. And I think he's pushing hard on it. Gavin Newsom is potential contending Democrat in the future, and he'd love to take him on. You won't see the same thing happening in Texas,
right?
Where there's issues there, but you got a Texas governor who is very supportive of Donald Trump. So it'll be a very different dynamic if it happens there.
Interesting. Now, speaking in terms of what's happening in California, the Latina community is so strong in California. And one of the interesting aspects when Donald Trump got elected was the support that he got from the Latina community. Now, looking as to how this anti-immigration crackdown has gone on, do you think he stands to lose somewhat of the support from the Latina community base?
I'm not sure about that. I think that the Latina community base is quite broad, and there are very different groups within that broader category of Latinos. And I think that it's a very diverse group. And I think the pushback here is pretty strong. ICE is using methods that, in this case, I think they were going into places of employment and picking people up out of their place where they were working, like Home Depot and other stores. And that was what I think crossed the line for some people. Right. And there also the initial intent was to pick up people who had criminal records, but they've gone beyond that.
Interesting. Thank you very much indeed, Professor Ports, for joining us and getting us all those insights there.
My pleasure.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.